Actually, it's quite fun for me to be here tonight, given I was the inaugural awardee. I've been involved with the Center for 10 years. I'm now currently serving as a co-chair, which means, quite honestly, you do what Nelson tells you to do. I'm just glad that he always picks up my good friend Terry first. But it's been fun. It really has been fun watching the organization grow and mature. When I was reflecting on the award winners, I want to congratulate everyone. So much has been said. So I was saying, well, I can't say the same things over again. And the 14 principles, I barely got out of school. I couldn't remember them anyway. So I was thinking, well, let's go through this. Take like Janet. In law school, were you trained to transform an organization or even have excellent judgment? No, you studied case law. What could be more thrilling than case law? Now, Hubert, number one student in your country, phenomenal. You know what people say to me? Do you think you could get into the college you went to if you applied today? No, you could. You actually could get into one of those École de la Balaz, whatever, as you know, right? It's phenomenal. I mean, think about that. And David, quite honestly, I was reflecting on your points about the former award winners and kind of how you looked at the group and you were sort of humbled by that. Well, I just want you to know how I was elected, as Nelson has pointed out to me. It was 10 of midnight before the closing of the nominations, and an application comes in from Mexico. This is before the wall. So I competed against myself, all right? So believe me, you did a lot better. Now, on a serious note, quite honestly, the accomplishments of all of our colleagues are phenomenal. I love the point that Hubert just made about getting the passion of the people and getting them in his environment where like hourly workers and had them to believe so passionately in what they do. UPSers, the 3,000 judges that you can't pay, getting them to kind of at least pretend to line up with some common mission and goal. What it is, it's a testimony to leadership, which reminds me of what I said about Sergio, my good friend Sergio Marciano, last year. And I commented that you might recall that he had the capacity to think and dress differently. Sergio would challenge the system. Unlike many people, at least in my tenure, were willing to do and could do it with an Italian sense of humor, even though he was a Canadian. He had this phenomenal ability about him to do those sorts of things and to inspire. I mean, he did a phenomenal job turning around a troubled company with Fiat and then with Chrysler, and you know all the stories of phenomenal accomplishments. But it's those attributes of leadership that you saw in Deming and Sergio and our colleagues this evening. So to me, it's an incredible testament and tribute to all of what you have. It'd be good if you could teach that at school, with all due respect, Dean. I don't know that it's something that can be taught. I think it's either inherited or you have it, it's in the gene pool, but it's not something you wake up one day and say, I studied this book and now I'm ready to go lead. Which reminds me of kind of a little project that I've been working on since I retired. I started this global institute around management systems. I won't bore you with the whole thing. I just would make a comment on some of the research that we're kicking off. The research that we're kicking off is technology and its impact on work, on jobs, corporate culture, management system, business design. We have a couple academic partners working with us. The reason why I mention this is because what's happening with technology, augmented intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, et cetera, is going to drive phenomenal change and transformation. The skills that we heard about tonight for the younger people in the room are the same skills and the adroitness and the agility that will get companies through this. And my argument will be that those 14 principles of Deming, if applied in this very challenging and sometimes intimidating world, will be the stability that gets everyone home and will define the future leaders of the Deming Cup. So thank you for having me. It's been fun. 10 years. Oh, God. You know, the other thing is, I retired almost 10 years ago. See, all this happened at once. They had a guy in Mexico. They found a guy in Mexico. He happened to be on our board. He shoved me out a year later, and here I am. But it's been great being here. It's been terrific. And with that, I'll turn it over to Nelson.